Hello everybody, welcome back to Late Night Book Club. Now, I'm filming this on photo booth. I do have a proper setup I've booked out ready for tomorrow I think it's tomorrow, I don't know, for me to film some more ready in advance, get them going. But I've just really felt the need to record one right now. I know I'm not in my other little setup. Honestly, I could do this on my bed, but the lighting's just better here, and because I'm not doing it on, like, a good camera, I thought we'd just sit in the little spots where I was doing my uni late-night book clubs. I don't know, I'm just gonna think of some things to talk about. Once again, I haven't made a list, but I've got a lot of ideas floating around in my head, and as it was like last time, it took me a while to kind of get settled in, because obviously it's weird. Thing nobody talks about starting YouTube channels or TikTok accounts or anything like that, when you start like actually talking on there and using your own voice and actually showing yourself and just showing who you actually are, it's so much more intimidating, because like you're just talking to yourself. And while, you know, I have a mirror here, and I know it sounds weird, but when I talk to myself in the mirror, it feels so much more natural, like to talk to a camera and knowing I'm gonna have to watch this back and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, yeah. You know, it's weird, it's different, but yeah, we're just gonna try it. Realistically, I don't think I have to be holding this mic. It's new, I got it sent to me. I think I can just clip it on my laptop and it'll work from there, but I don't know. I do need like a H6 or something like that to record the audio, but I'm just so lazy in recording the audio separately that doing it on my photo booth for now just seems like the best thing. Like, it seems like the easiest way around it, because one, I don't have to buy a H6, and two, it won't plug into anything else. I've currently got an adapter, which I could show you, but because I have the MacBooks where like it's only a USB-C like ports, there's no USB port, so now I've had to buy an adapter. Like, I don't get it. I get Mac is trying to make everything so it's just them, like nobody else can have it. But the issue is, why can't I plug in a USB stick without paying £8 for something else? It's so silly. Sorry, I've just gone on a rant, which is nothing book related. But I just thought I'd just hop on. We just have a cute little chat. Can I play you for a chat? And I don't know when my storage is going to run out or how long I'll be able to have this video going for. And if this will even get posted. I think that's another thing. You know, I've decided on topic number 1. This is so scuffed, and it always is. Topic number 1 is starting a TikTok account or a YouTube account. So, I posted a TikTok the other day, and to be fair, I post quite a few of these types of TikToks, being like, don't be scared, start it, just start the account. Like, I think in high school, I was somebody who had 7 fan accounts. I had my own makeup account. I had fan accounts on Twitter, on Instagram. Like, I wasn't afraid to integrate that into my normal account and, like, promote it myself. But then, obviously, naturally, as high school goes, specifically in England, I don't know how it would be in other countries, but that leads to a lot of, like, backlash and, honestly, bullying. Like, people make fun of you because you actually have the confidence to try something new, and that's intimidating for people. Confidence in general is a very intimidating thing. You know, if you see somebody who has a lot of confidence in themselves and like doesn't have that many insecurities or whatever, you're immediately like, oh my god, I'm scared of them. They are so sure of who they are as a person. They won't let anybody stop that, and it's scary because it's just intimidating to know somebody does have that, especially if you're a person who doesn't. And I think that's a lot of reasons why people kind of made fun of me, because I had the confidence and I liked things, you know. Growing up undiagnosed, neurodivergent, it's weird because you have sometimes niche hyperfixations or niche likes, and it's not just a like. You don't just like Lego like me, or like a singer or whatever. You want to know everything about that. Like, you will never feel like you know enough or own enough merch or support them enough, because there's always somebody who's doing it more or like better than you. And I think for me, when I had all those fan accounts and my makeup account, I just wanted to be the best. I just wanted to get better. Like, I wanted to grow. I wanted so many followers. I wanted everybody to see what I was doing, because in my head I was so proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I do like them, and I want to show that I like them more than you do. And it feels like such a competition, and that's kind of where, you know, there is a slight toxicity to communities on social media, because at the end of the day you only put out the side of yourself which is the best, that you want people to see. For some people that's lying and, you know, pretending to be someone they're not. For other people it's being their truest self and sometimes getting backlash from it. And especially with the book community is definitely, I'm not just saying this, but like the nicest community I've ever been a part of. The makeup community was quite a supportive one. You didn't necessarily feel like that judged by the people you'd like collab with or whatever. But some people that would view a post, like obviously like there's always somebody doing it better than you. And especially in the time of like 2017, 2018, when makeup as a culture on like social media was so out the box. Like you had to be straight on the trends. You had to be doing the straight, like the next big cut crease. Like it was very constant. Like you weren't allowed a break. And I do feel that in the book community sometimes. Like I do feel a lot of guilt, but I think that's just a lot more personal. You know, if I don't post in a while, or if I'm in a book slump and I'm struggling to find content, I feel guilt because I feel like I've grown this community that's actually so lovely and so supportive of my different ventures, even like this, that I feel like I'm disappointing them or letting them down. By no means I feel like I have like, you know, quote unquote fan base or anything. I don't feel like people look to me for anything like that. People aren't going to be like, oh my god, when's next going to post? Like, I don't think that at all. I just feel kind of disappointment that, you know, I've not read this new release, or I'm not posting about it, or I've not read this popular series. I'm like, I need to keep going, I need to go faster, I need to read more. But I think with the book community, there's so many different like niches, so many different like niche sides to it that like, yeah, you don't have to post for months if you're in a book slump, or you can admit that you're in a book slump and like you're struggling. It's okay to admit that you're struggling for content, and nobody's really going to judge you, because reading's such a diverse thing. You know, we all have different reading speeds, we all have different interests in books, different favourite genres, different favourite books. There's so much like variety. I guess if like when I was a fan of like a boy band, there wasn't that much variety, because it's like you'd have a favourite member or a favourite song, and like that's all the like personalisation you really got. And if you weren't kept up with the new releases and stuff like that, or like posting for it, felt like you weren't a good enough fan. But I guess with books, because there's so many different authors, so many different types of books and ways of reading, that you're not necessarily a fan of reading, you're just more like in a community of people who share that interest. It doesn't feel like a competition as much. But I do also understand that sometimes it can. And I think going on different ventures like this, I mean this like with my whole heart. I'm not doing this for views, for likes, for more followers or anything. I'm someone who's always wanted to do YouTube. Like I've always loved social media. I got my first social media accounts when I was very young. I remember getting my first Facebook account because I used to play the games on my mum's Facebook, so she just ended up getting me my own account. And I had an older sister who obviously was around when times were really changing and things like Instagram and Snapchat was starting to get big. Like I had my first Instagram account and Snapchat account very young, so I kind of like was so immersed in digital culture from a very early age that it stuck with me. You know, I'm doing my degree in digital media, and I think that's why I've never been afraid as much as other people to post. Obviously I still have my fears, you know, it still took me so long to start this YouTube channel, and I've wanted to for so long. But I think growing my TikTok community first, and knowing that, you know, I do have people who enjoy seeing what I want to do, or enjoy seeing what I do in my daily life, it's so nice to know that people will support me on other platforms. I think being a booktuber or a booktoker, it's scary at first, but it's such a big community and not everybody gets big from it. It's kind of like fangirl culture in a way that you're supporting people and you're supporting something, but it's not like you're guaranteed to get famous. Like, I don't post videos and go, oh my god, that's going to go viral or that's going to get so many likes and views. I post videos because I know I have an audience that will find it relatable or like make people feel like they're not alone. Especially when I do post about neurodivergency, it's more like raising awareness. I know I have a mixed age audience. You know, I've talked to some members of the community that are a lot younger than me that are still in high school, and I'm like, I remember that so vividly. It was not that long ago, obviously, but that was such an integral part of my life, and I was so scared to do stuff like this. If you're posting anything against the norm in high school, might as well just leave high school. Like, you've got no chance, it feels. But then what I always told myself is there's so much more to life than being ages 11 to 16. Like, high school is one of the hardest parts of life, I think. Some people it's a breeze, some people it's amazing, but if you have any form of like mental health issue or disability, I think it's a very difficult time. And having a community like this on the internet, when you can be from different countries, different part of your country, and still find solidarity in something so simple, which includes escapism in itself. Like, reading is a pure form of escapism. You're reading about a completely different world. Like, even if you're reading a biography or like non-fiction, you're reading about something that is not in your life. Or if you are, like, I have read a few books about autism. It's obviously, you know, a big part of my life, but I kind of have the solidarity in knowing I'm learning, I'm escaping how I feel right now to understand the bigger picture. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's what's so good about the book community is you can escape on social media to find people who have this similar interest, which is quite a common interest, you know. I remember when I first started like posting about books, I made this account honestly just to post other videos myself, like ones I was scared for everybody from like high school and college to see. And then I was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna post what I'm actually interested in. Like, I consumed so much of Booktok that I was like, why can't I do it? That's the thing you need to think about if you're really considering it. Why can't you do it? What is stopping you? And if what is stopping you is from other people, don't listen to them. They aren't doing it. That's fine. You want to do it. So what is stopping you? And I think that's what really changed my perspective. I realised, you know, there's more to life than what people think of you. That's something I've been really trying to think about a lot recently as well. You know, there's a lot more to life than just other people's opinions. You know who you are as a person, and if you don't, it'll take time and you'll find that out, and it'll take a while to figure out, but once you figure it out, you feel a lot better. You know, you might think you know what you like and what you dislike, but until you kind of go through enough experiences to know for definite, which I don't think you ever really do until everything ends. I don't think I know enough about myself still, but I do know that I'm not afraid to post and have other people judge me or say stuff about me behind my back, because I had the confidence to do this. I had the confidence to keep going with it. You know, I'm still doing it, which is crazy, but look at what it's brought me. If I look back to a year ago, I posted a video that did get a lot of views, and I ended up going from about 300 followers to about 700 in the span of not even a week. And that is insane. Like, that amount of growth, I got so obsessive with growing. I was like, oh my god, I need to, right, okay, this is what went well, I need to do it. And I was looking at algorithms, I was looking at everything. And then now I've realised it's just not that deep. Like, I just post because I want to. I know what I like seeing. Okay, the lighting has changed because I've just had a drink. I apologise, but it might be easier for you to actually see me now. But yeah, I know that's a very weird tangent to go on, but the amount of TikToks I see of being like, I'm a new Booktok creator, please help me grow. I understand growing is a big part of like validation for starting those new accounts and wanting to keep going. I completely get that. We've all been there. But when you realise, you know, you just really have to post what you want. It's your account. If you don't want to post one day, don't do it. You have a lot of control over it. People won't forget who you are. If you come back and be like, hey, I'm sorry I took a bit off, or, you know, I've been struggling with this, that's fine. We all do that, you know. I think back to after I moved to uni and I was really, really struggling with motivation to read, and to be honest, it still stayed all throughout first year. You know, first year is a lot of change. And change is a very hard concept for me in general, but it's a lot of adaptability that I didn't think I had in me. Turns out I do, but reading was something that I kind of just pushed to the side. You know, I had a lot to focus on myself and just learning a lot more about myself. That reading wasn't a top priority. I posted my first late night book club here in uni after so long of like not posting them, and it felt so weird because it was like, people actually remember this. People remember who I am. People loved this series. Like, do you know what I mean? It was so validating, and I remember I got so many positive messages and comments about it, and everybody was so happy. And, you know, when I started deciding to film these for YouTube just one night, it felt like a big step for me. I understand for some people they might be like, huh? It's not that deep. But for me, I was like, this is crazy. This is what I've always wanted to do. Like, I pretend to talk to a camera in the mirror half the time. Even if I don't say it out loud, it's happening in my head. I'm filming tutorials. I'm talking. You know, I've always been like that. So to actually fulfill this, no matter if it grows or not, at least I know that I'm doing something that has made me more confident and more comfortable with my community. Because I think I have grown a very nice, caring community, you know. I understand not all people who view my TikToks are part of that community, and that's where there's a few struggles, you know, the odd hate comment and stuff like that. But, like I was saying before with the book community specifically, it's just so comfortable to post whatever you want. Like, some days I will post stuff like fangirl type content, but I know that there's a crossover, so people still appreciate that. But I could post a day in the life. People might not care about that. I might not include reading, but I do it because it motivates me to do more with my day. I understand why people get scared to start these kind of things. You know, I would not be doing this, talking to a camera so comfortably, literally a year or two ago. I would have been struggling. I didn't post talking videos for a while as well because I was so scared. And I understand why, but as someone who's a yapper in real life and who's always wanted to do something like this, it's so much easier when you realise that people appreciate it. You know, I've had so many friends messaging me being like, I'm watching the late night book club this morning, or I'm watching late night book club, and I'm like, that's so cute that people actually like support me. And it baffles me every time I get a notification that someone's liked my video or commented on my video. I'm like, you've actually watched it. That's crazy. Like, every time I post kind of like a long book haul on TikTok, and people comment about a book I mentioned maybe like halfway through, or I didn't show it, I just mentioned it. I'm like, you watched it? Like, that is so insane that people actually care what I do. And if that's not motivation for you to start something yourself, I genuinely don't know what is. You know, people do care a lot more than you think. So, as well, I don't know if any of you guys have seen my recent haul on TikTok. I got a few sprayed edges books from the works. I got First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I got Funny Story by Emily Henry, The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, and The Strawberry Patch. Strawberry Patch what? Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. Now, I am a sprayed edges girl, and if you're in the UK and you don't buy your sprayed edges from the works, you are wasting your money. They always have the best ones. And I've been really trying to stop myself from buying any more books recently. Like, I know it's kind of hard. It's a bit of like a fight in my head. I'm like, I need to do it. It's content. It brings me content. But then I'm like, I have so many books I haven't read. So I feel like we should go through them again. I don't know, this is just an instinct. I can't explain it. Normal People, the scripts is so high up my list because the TV show more than the book is so special to me. That TV show genuinely has changed a lot of my perspective on life. Same with One Day. I do have the book of that and I haven't read it because I've heard a lot of people say the show is better. And I kind of don't want to ruin the show for me because the show is genuinely perfection in my brain. But Normal People, the scripts, I feel like books written in script style, like Daisy Jones and the Six, so much easier to get through. And especially as it's familiar because I do know the story. You know, I think with Normal People, it's one of those where you get it or you don't. And I don't mean that in like an exclusionary way. I mean that in the same way like Magnolia Parks. You get it or you don't. If you don't like Magnolia Parks, it's normally not like a 3-star, it's like a 1. But if you don't like Normal People, it's like a 1-star again, if that makes sense. And I remember buying that off Amazon. I don't know why. I think I just saw somebody on TikTok talking about it and I was like, I need that now. I did not know that was a thing. Because Fleabag, the script, has been on my to buy list of my TBR for so long. Fleabag is another one of those shows genuinely changed my life. I guess my little holy trinity is Fleabag, Normal People, and One Day. They are my rewatches, like, for comfort, to remind me that it's okay to struggle and to, like, not be okay, which sounds so kind of cliche and, like, reused, you know. It's not exactly a new revelation, but having a reminder in the media means a lot more from someone who consumes so much of the media. Especially the edits and the editing community. The editing community is amazing for those kind of shows. You know, I appreciate the editing community so much. I wish I was still an editor. That's something that, like, I wish I got so much better. I was not good at all. And I literally still have some of the videos and I can't even show them to anybody. They're so, like, not good. But the editing community, especially for books, I find so baffling. I have so much respect for you guys because you guys take a fan cast or, like, multiple fan casts and put them into, like, the perfect representation of a character. How do you find these people? I've never found a person on my own and thought, like, oh, that's Johnny Kavanagh. There's a few people I've been like, oh my god, that could be. But I never find it as accurate as all these people do. How do you do it? Please tell me your secrets. My messages are open. Please. I know on TikTok I've talked quite a lot about trying to get into fantasy. You know, it's something I mention a lot and I still haven't managed to do. I guess after a book slump, I always try and go back to some kind of comfort or familiarity, which is particularly a romance book. An easy to read, just pure romance, like yearning romance. Normally friends to lovers rather than enemies to lovers because the tension, like in enemies to lovers, amazing, but like the connection, especially if it's childhood friends to lovers. I genuinely wish I lived a book trope like that. I can't believe that I will never have a childhood friends to lovers book trope in my life. In real life, that is insane. Like, how are they living my dream? Yes, they're fictional, and you know, it doesn't make sense. I love the whole trend on TikTok as well of being like my whole life is just centered around fictional men, because me too. My standards since being really into reading have skyrocketed. You know, I've stopped standing for disrespect. And that's something I never thought I'd do. I never used to stand up for myself at all, really. But reading a lot of books with, like, a strong female lead or somebody who, you know, continuously gets hurt, goes around in a circle and actually has to end up standing up for themselves. Magnolia Parks. It teaches a lot about, you know, not settling for less. And I think seeing some of the characters in these books, obviously it's a man written by a woman. That is something I have to keep in the back of my brain, which really hurts. It is a man written by a woman, but every man comes from a woman, so what is their excuse? You know, I can't settle for bullshit. Like, it's just not fair. When you have quotes like "cut me and I'll bleed him." Yes, that's a woman written by a woman written by a woman who's saying that. But still, in a book, it's insane. Like, how, I think especially Magnolia Parks, genuinely, I'm just looking at it up on my bookshelf, and the way they speak about each other with such yearning, and just, have both been through their struggles, and both are bad people in a way. They both have their issues. It's kind of realistic in that way, that they both hurt each other as a consequence of themselves and their own actions. And it's a hard read, and I think it's a harder read for the people who don't get that. If you're somebody who's never made a mistake in a relationship, or in like a talking stage or a situationship, whatever you want to say, if you've never made a mistake while being in love, or struggled with miscommunication yourself or from the other person, you will not understand that book. And honestly, it's not something that's made for you. I think it's got a very niche audience of people who appreciate it because it's kind of familiar. Obviously, they're rich in London, I am not, and I don't have that familiarity. So that's where the fictional part of the escapism comes in. But in general, seeing the hurt from both parties is quite realistic. Obviously, not every point, like I said, in the book is realistic to me. But I feel like if you have been in a situation like any of the ones mentioned as a trope or as a part of the book, you get it. And if you haven't, you will never understand. It's made for the girls who yearn love, but it never comes to them. It's made for the girls who always go for the tainted guys, who taint their heart as well. It's literally made for me. I don't know. I have a bookish tattoo. I don't think I've ever told anybody this on here. I have Beauty is Terror, which is a quote from The Secret History, which is also one of my favourite books, like actually in my top ones. Well, it's my top one book ever, like standalone. And then my top series is Magnolia Parks and Boys of Tommen. I still can't get myself to read all of Boys of Tommen. I mentioned this last time, I think. I am honestly scared. Like, I genuinely have no excuse. I'm just terrified because I just don't want to know that it can get worse. That is the worst part. But yeah, I think with Boys of Tommen, it's not necessarily something that I can relate to every character, or even most of the characters, or most of what happens. But it's kind of just the knowing that things can go wrong and goodness can still come out of it. That's quite a common theme, I think, in it. Not everything is good and not everything works out, but everything kind of happens for a reason in it. A lot of things happen for a reason in it, and that's kind of where the comfort lies. I'm so scared to find out, actually, because if I'm wrong, that's going to be really bad. I also did get a comment on one of my other videos where I mentioned I haven't read As Good as Dead because I just do not want to finish A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Like, no, do not take my baby away from me. That's my Pip and Ravi. Like, please do not. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want anything else to happen to them. Like, they've already been through enough. Don't make me do that. But I've heard a comment telling me I have to read it, so now I feel like I have to read it next. And I'm scared. I won't lie, I'm terrified. Because everybody says it's, like, the best one in the series, but it's so, like, sad and scary. I think that's what people say. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't want to witness sad and scary for Pip and Ravi. They've already been through enough. I don't know. I have a lot of books, like, on my bookshelf, which I'm just, like, I need to get round to. Like, when I was saying about fantasy before, fantasy and dystopian, I'd say, are the two where I struggle to get into, because if I'm in a reading slump, there's no chance. But dystopian, to be fair, I did get a little bit through the Shatter Me series until I had to start revising for A-levels, and I was really struggling to do both at the same time, and I had to, like, stop reading for a while, and then I didn't get to pick, I think it was Unravel Me I was up to, I didn't get to pick it back up. I did have interest in it. The issue is I'd probably have to start that book again, which would be quite a big job, because obviously I have to start that book again and finish the series, and there's novellas in between. I do have every book in the series, but you know, there's quite a lot to get through. I guess it's a bit like the Addicted series. I'm just scared to start that because I know there's so much more to come. And I do like series in the way of, like, you get to be so immersed into this experience and, like, you feel like you're living in this universe. The issue with me in long series is it takes a lot for me to get so fully immersed in a universe that much to read, like, 10 plus books. Like, at that point, I just need something else, and I need to go on a break. I read something else, and I never finish the series. That's my issue. So that's why I'm also kind of scared of reading, like, Chestnut Springs. Like, I know they're all slightly different, which I actually prefer, because it's the same with Rebel Blue Ranch. Like, I know there's only 3 of them so far, but I am going to get around to Lost and Lassoed really quick, hopefully. I read the first 2 back to back because I understand it's the same universe and it's slightly different characters, and that's what I like. Like, they do link up, but not to, like, an extensive point. Same with, like, off-campus series. You know, they're all in the same universe, but it's not just about the same people. Like, in my head, like, I've read their book, I know their story. There's not that much more I need to know, because if anything, it kind of ruins the specialty of the first part of their story, if that makes sense. I don't know. I think that's why, like, I'd struggle if I ever read the Divergent books, which I know, I've got Twilight, like, I'm literally talking about, like, Twilight now, it's literally about the same people the whole time. But Twilight, to be fair, same with Divergent, I have such a connection to the movies. Divergent, the first one's the best. I literally never rewatched the other 2 because they're bad. But I did buy The Maze Runner in a charity shop the other day, and I love all 3 of those films. The second one's the worst, but still alright. I don't know if I'd be okay with the books, because obviously it's mixing, like, fantasy/dystopian vibe in with a series about the same constant people. So, like, Maze Runner, Divergent, Hunger Games, Twilight, they would probably be quite a struggle. But obviously, young adult aspect might help me. But when I do finally get around to them, it'll be amazing, I know, and I'll love it. I guess I'm also scared of reading, like, Powerless, Powerful, Reckless, and Fearless. Is that the one that's coming out? Same with Once Upon a Broken Heart. I was really struggling with that because I knew, like, the next 2 are still about them, and it's still a genre that I'm, like, scared. It's not like I'm reading, like, a new, slightly different story, but I will get round to those kind of books. It does take time. A book I've just been reminded of by looking up there, the sequel to If You Had Been With Me. It was, If Only I Could Have Told Her. If Only I Had Told Her, sorry. Now, the first, If He Had Been With Me, amazing. Genuinely, actually amazing. And I tried to start reading If Only I'd Told Her. Why can't I get the name right? Start reading If Only I'd Told Her, and it wasn't hitting the same. Now, I don't know if that's because there was such like a gap between when I read the first one and that one, or if it's because the first one had such a huge impact that it was hard to revisit it. I don't know. Same vibe as, I presume, with, like, It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. I never read It Starts With Us. I read It Ends With Us, obviously. And I think the first one was so complete, it didn't need a second book. Not that I read it, but from what I've heard. But that's what I get with If He Had Been With Me and If Only I'd Told Her. Like, I feel like there was no need. And it was very hyped up as well. Same with It Starts With Us. Like, so hyped up. Everybody was talking about it before it even came out. Then it came out and it's like, oh. We literally just didn't need it. I feel like that is one issue with the book community. We always want more, which obviously is, like, fine. Like, we always want more books, more content, the next book to come out. But I think when they're disappointing, that's when things go wrong, because it's like, oh. And then I guess for the authors, that might be quite shitty, to be honest, to be like, oh, so this book didn't get received as well as my other one did. But I don't know if I'd be able to handle that as an author. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to keep going and keep putting them out, especially with like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. I know that was very like widely well received. I still haven't read it, got it on my bookshelf, I've got the entire series, but I was scrolling through Goodreads and I saw like a lot of low reviews for the new one, the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. That name of the book, first off, what a tongue twister, but I've seen a lot of like poor reviews about it, and I think it's possibly because the first one, or maybe the first, I don't even know if the first 3 got well received, that it was a constant like go, write it now. And I think the amount of pressure that can be put on authors can probably be intimidating and lead to these lower quality books in like the middle of the series, especially when the first book in the series is the best one, or like one of the best ones. It's like, you know that they have been curating that for so long that when they have to start putting out the other ones in a shorter time frame, it must be hard. I can only imagine. I have a lot of, respect for authors, especially small authors on TikTok. I can hold my hands up and say that it's not necessarily something I'm like fully clued up on. I'm not a small author myself, and I do follow quite a few on my account, but I could obviously do a lot more to support them, and I wholeheartedly intend to in the future. I always want to try more, even helping with engagement. It's not hard to just repost a video, like it, comment, help with the algorithm. Simple things like that help creators a lot more than you think. Like, people say like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever. It actually helps, because boosting your video to people who have a similar like interest or account to you will help that creator so much. I don't want my For You page, my videos to get on the wrong For You page. That's when hate comes to me or comes to other people in my comment sections, which is obviously, it makes me feel awful, because I try so hard to make this safe space that we all kind of appreciate, and we all can voice our opinions without judgment. If you don't like a book, that's fine. Say it. If somebody who does like a book, though, say it. Don't argue. We all have different opinions. I keep seeing the time go up, and I'm like, my phone storage would have cut out about 20 minutes ago. This is so much longer than the first one. But, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I used to be a big listener of like Frenemies, where episodes are like 2 hours long. And like, I used to watch them sometimes, and I'd be like, half the time you're yapping. It is not that deep. Like, you don't need to talk about something for that long. But then you sit here and you actually do it, and you're like, oh my god, I literally cannot stop talking. I feel like I've just got a best friend on FaceTime. I'm just chatting with my besties. I actually mean it. I appreciate everybody so much on here, on TikTok. It's kind of crazy that, and like very surreal that people actually want to watch my videos and want to know me and consume the content I put out. Like, you guys are my friends. I mean, I've made so many friends through my Booktok, and even like a few weeks ago, I met Lottie and Jess in the club in Manchester. It was Lottie's birthday, and I literally was like, oh my god, like, it's weird. It's like, you're real. You're real. Like, I met you because I had the confidence to start this one day, and now I've met you. Like, that's insane. And especially because Lottie sent me my first ever fairy mail. If you don't know what fairy mail is, it's quite a common thing on Booktok. If you have your Amazon wishlist anywhere linked on your profile, like mine's in my link tree, because I obviously have all my other links to everything else, but you can gift other creators, or just other people. Like, if you have their Amazon wishlist, you can just gift people stuff on their wishlist. Like, obviously for Booktok, it's mainly just books, and that's called like book fairies or fairy mail. And I remember when I first got my first fairy mail, it was from Lottie, and I was literally so excited. I could not believe it, because I was like, this is a friend I've made just from chatting on the internet and just posting like relatable content, quote unquote. And it did well enough to reach somebody that is so similar to me. It just brings such a genuine friendship because you know you have something very strong in common, because obviously if you've got such a love for books enough to make a whole account about it, or even if like it's something else that you have an interest in that you've got a whole account about, like fangirl accounts, like obviously mine's a bit of a mix, but if you have any interest that you make a dedicated account to it and you find a group of people who share that interest, it's a lovely feeling to know that like you have such a strong common denominator between you two. You get it, you're just my friends. I feel like I'm just on FaceTime to you all. Please talk back to me. I feel like I'm carrying the conversation. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. I feel like I'm just gonna leave this here though, because this is a very long one. I know I haven't edited yet, so the raw timing might not be fully accurate, but it'll be pretty accurate. And this is a very long one, and I don't know if anybody's actually going to stay till this bit. Let me know if you do though. That'd be great. Very validating. Sorry once again about the quality and the vibes of the setup. Like I said, I'm trying to sort something to try a new thing soon. Can't guarantee how long I'll have that set up for, but you know, we'll see if it works. If not, to be fair, this was pretty cute. Kind of appreciate this one, won't lie. I'm gonna go and listen to the Wicked soundtrack, write my to-do list for tomorrow, and probably just scroll on TikTok and read. I'm still reading Picking Daisies on Sundays. I'm loving it, but you know, I had a day where I just read so much of it, and then I'm like, I need to read more, but like, I've just been so busy. So I will get around to it, and as soon as I will, I'll include a review in like a segment of one of these. I need to write down ideas. My brain is so full right now, because obviously I've just been talking as soon as it's been coming in my head. I need to write down ideas for my next ones. So that's what I'm going to do. I might make some TikToks or something. But I love you all, as per always. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, I promise I'll get this sorted soon. And thank you so much for still supporting me, even though it's this scuffed looking. I will work on it, and it will be better, hopefully. But yeah, I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to Late Night Book Club. Can't believe it's back. I can't say bye. I don't want to leave. Okay, bye for real. I love you.